You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Hey there, welcome back to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. So today, similar to last week, I want to share with you guys another training clip. Now, this training was something I do for my Impact members. Once a month, they get a training from me as part of our professional development. If you're like, what is Impact? Why is she always talking about Impact? It's my monthly membership for school counselors where you get unlimited downloads to all of my resources. Yes, that's all of my TPT products, as well as monthly trainings and an engaged community of nearly 1,000 school counselors. So if you're interested in Impact, you can go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/impact to learn more, or feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. But sometimes I feel like people understand the resources part, and that's usually what they join for, to be honest, but they don't really know what all the PD entails. So I like to share some of it on the podcast with you guys so you can get a little sample of my teaching style and see if you'll be a good fit. So I'm going to share this with you guys. This one specifically is going to talk about how you can source some lesson topics. So if you're kind of like, what am I going to teach about next month? How do I know what I'm supposed to do in my class lessons, small groups, and individuals? And I think you're going to love this episode. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's play a little game of Would You Rather, School Counselor Edition. Okay, would you rather spend your weekend planning a group or spend your afternoon sitting in irrelevant PD? Yikes. Or would you rather be the only counselor with no one to collaborate with, or to spend hours searching online for engaging activities? All of these options are pretty bad, right? But unfortunately, they're all too real. But what if I told you I had a solution for you? What if I told you I had access to hundreds of school counseling lessons, groups, and activities, counselor-specific trainings on the topics you need most, and a community of like-minded school counselors to support you? You would say, yes, please. Well, that is what Impact is all about. Impact is my monthly membership for school counselors, and it helps you with all of these things. You get access to hundreds of resources. That's unlimited free downloads. Log in and get what you need right away to every single resource that's in my store. We add new resources each and every month. We're adding a new middle school and elementary resource each month, and some of these are bonus Impact exclusives, meaning that you can get resources just for members. You can request resources that you need and easily search so you can find exactly what you're looking for. And let's talk about the trainings, counselor-specific trainings on the topics you need most. We do these each and every month as part of our Coffee with the Counselor series. Impact members get to join for absolutely free. You earn PD certificates and you get exclusive access to members-only things like the Ultimate Small Group Experience and our Summer Summit Conference. And the community. Y'all, this is possibly my favorite part of Impact. I so look forward to jumping on these calls, to getting to know counselors who are similar to me and also completely different. It's so fun to hear from your experiences and your challenges, and everyone brings a unique perspective to the table. We have an exclusive online community, and we even have a cool app where you can chat with other counselors in these community circles. We have our monthly calls, like I mentioned, twice a month, and we share wins, troubleshoot tough cases, and just talk about what it's like to be a counselor, because so often we're on our own island at our school sites. So if any of that sounds like it's for you, I would love to see you inside Impact. Go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/impact to solve all of your counselor problems. And I have a special offer for my listeners. Use code POD at checkout to save 10% off your first month. Okay, let's go to today's episode. Now let's talk about finding and sourcing those lesson topics. So this is kind of like the fun thing we did at the beginning, our little quick win. But what exactly am I supposed to be teaching? Well, you can use needs assessments and data to intentionally select lesson topics that are meaningful and fun. So 5 ways to source lesson topics. Number 1, look at the calendar. So this is kind of what we did in our little warm-up, but look ahead at the calendar, look for trends, holidays, things that your school's doing, and so on. Number 2, you can reference referral data and deficits. So this is where you're going to go to your principal and say like, hey, where are kids struggling? And he might say, look, we've got this same group of 3rd grade boys who keeps getting sent to the office for fighting at recess. Well, there you go. There's a group you can do right there. Conflict resolution, self-control, anger management, any of those topics could work for that. And that's the best kind, because then you can use the data pre and post and show your principal, look, this is how many referrals you were getting before my group. After my group, they've lessened to this amount. Number 3 is the needs assessment. So that's where you're looking at responses given to you by teachers to figure out what their needs are. 4 is looking at existing curriculum that you already have. And 5 is basing lessons around a book. So let's dive into these. 1, looking at the calendar. So like I said before, holiday season, school-wide activities, counseling trends. ASCA has an awareness calendar if you want to check that out. I love to start every year with a Meet the Counselor lesson to introduce myself and to model what the lessons will look like. Number 2, this is what I was talking about with that admin data. So find out where kids are struggling. This could be behavioral or academic. Maybe you're seeing, find out which kids are struggling the most academically from each grade level. Do an executive functioning group. Do an academic skills or study skills group. And then hopefully after your group, you can share, notice a difference in their grades. That's the best kind of data. Principals love behavior, academic, and attendance data. So if you can base any of your groups around those are going to be great. Reviewing the needs assessment responses. So you can send out a needs assessment and then review the results. This can be like a little informal survey that you're sending to teachers, asking them, hey, what do you need more of? What kind of topics do you want to see this year? Maybe you did this in August. Redo it. It's January. It's a new semester. Maybe now is a better time to do it because the teachers have more of a pulse of what the needs are. In August, everything's kind of peachy. You might not see a lot of stuff. But in January, I bet they can send you a lot of things that they want to see improved. And 4, check out existing curriculum. So your school may supply you with some. That's amazing. If so, just use that. And you can always modify it. Like I used to use Second Step, but then I would put my own twist on it and, supplement some of my own activities. And so I always recommend combining just to make it, the most engaging and best for your kiddos because best and each school's so different. And 5, you can also base lessons around a book. So I love to find a book to fit with the counseling theme. If y'all know Laura from Positive School Counselor, she's been on my podcast before, and she's been one of our presenters at the Summer Summit Conference. She is just like a wealth of information with books. She's the book girl. When people ask me for a book recommendation, I just send them to her. But she is great at this. She has a lot of good books that she uses with students, and it's just so cool. So I would love to hear if you guys have any books for the topics you're doing next month: kindness, conflict resolution, friendship. Feel free to throw them in the chat and inspire each other.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.